Oxu maré, lê, 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 maré. Oxu maré, lê, lê. Oxu maré, lê, 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 maré. Oxu maré. Oxu maré, lê, 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 maré. Oxu maré, lê, lê. Oxu maré, lê, 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 maré. Oxu maré. Eu tive um sonho e acordei chorando, lágrimas de Oxalá, uma bênção, raios do luar. E lei, fei, fei, fá, reino dos orixás, reino dos orixás. Oxu maré, lê, 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 maré. Oxu maré, lê, lê.
To get started as a donor or bidder, click on the Get Started link. After doing so, you'll have the option to create an account or log in with an account you've already set up. In this case, we'll create a new account. After indicating the account that you plan to use, confirm your email address, and an email will be sent to you. It'll take a minute to get there, but if you didn't get the email, make sure to click the resend button. The basic email will let you update your contact info. Know that when you update your contact information, to verify that the first name and last name looks as you would like it to in the software. Notice that mobile number is required so that you can get text messages and notifications. Also, indicate your credit card, information, and expiration date. Once that's completed, click the green Start Bidding button to do your bidding or donations. You'll notice that when your account is logged in, your name will appear at the top. You can go in and make a bid or make a basic donation. To learn more, go to www.greatergiving.com. Thanks. To get started as a donor or bidder, click on the Get Started link. After doing so, you'll have the option to create an account or log in with an account you've already set up. In this case, we'll create a new account. After indicating the account that you plan to use, confirm your email address, and an email will be sent to you. It'll take a minute to get there, but if you didn't get the email, make sure to click the resend button. The basic email will let you update your contact info. Know that when you update your contact information, to verify that the first name and last name looks as you would like it to in the software. Notice that mobile number is required so that you can get text messages and notifications. Also, indicate your credit card, information, and expiration date. Once that's completed, click the green Start Bidding button to do your bidding or donations. You'll notice that when your account is logged in, your name will appear at the top. You can go in and make a bid or make a basic donation. To learn more, go to www.greatergiving.com. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I am one of your hosts, Ozzy Gonzalez.
And I am Nicole Leon, and we will be your hosts for tonight. On behalf of the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber, we want to extend a very warm welcome to all of you, wherever you may find yourself, whether it's in the comfort of your home, your office, or you're having a virtual watch party with your close friends.
Each year, from September 15th through October 15th, Americans in the United States observe National Hispanic Heritage Month. During this time, we celebrate the histories, cultures, and contributions of American citizens whose ancestors come from faraway places like Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. We are thrilled to be kicking off a month of celebrations with you tonight in our 27th Annual Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber Hispanic Heritage Celebration.
We have the pleasure of being joined by tonight's keynote speaker, Marcelino Alvarez, Chief Producer Officer at Fresh Consulting, a successful entrepreneur and an industry innovator.
We will also recognize our graduating class, the 15th Latino Leadership Class, made up of a cohort of 16 individuals, and welcome our new incoming leadership class.
Additionally, we will be recognizing outstanding individuals and organizations from both Oregon and Southwest Washington with our Bravo Awards.
Lastly, and certainly not leastly, not only will you be able to bid for great prizes during our annual virtual silent auction, but you will also have the opportunity to purchase a raffle ticket tonight for a chance to win 2 Alaska Airlines coach round-trip tickets valued at $2,500. So we're going to be getting 150 of them out maximum. We're starting the release tonight, so if you haven't already logged into the link, please do so. You can see links here on the screen. We're going to be releasing the raffle ticket tonight, so you don't have a lot of time to win those tickets, and now is your chance.
Make sure you open a new tab and click on the link below where you will find all of tonight's information, from the events program to the raffle tickets to the link to the silent auction. Lots of great items to bid on, and that will benefit the Hispanic Chamber's programs. Some of our auction items we have include the Ultimate Blazers package, which includes 2 tickets to front row courtside tickets and an autographed Blazers team basketball, with an additional $50 gift card to Tamale Boy for delicious Mexican food.
And of course, what would tonight be without our sponsors? Let's give a big thank you to tonight's premier sponsors, Nike and Prosper Portland.
En nombre de Prosper Portland, es un honor darles la bienvenida a la celebración de la herencia hispana. Es un verdadero placer poder celebrar a la Cámara de Comercio Hispana y el liderazgo de la directora ejecutiva Carmen Castro. Especialmente durante el último año y medio, la Cámara ha sido un verdadero recurso para las pequeñas empresas y un socio excepcional para nuestra ciudad. Su trabajo, en nombre de la comunidad, se ha extendido mucho más allá de Portland y ha elevado la estatura de esta organización en todo el estado. Apreciamos profundamente nuestro trabajo en conjunto para el Fondo de Ayuda para Pequeñas Empresas, que marcó la diferencia para miles de empresarios, muchos de los cuales pertenecen a nuestra comunidad latina. Nos inspira su trabajo para centrar y apoyar a los más impactados frente a la incertidumbre y la injusticia. Aplaudimos su poderosa voz de parte de la comunidad latina, su trabajo para crear oportunidades, apoyar la educación y preparar líderes para mejorar nuestra ciudad y estado, y al fin contribuir a una economía saludable. Esperamos continuar esta gran colaboración. Gracias. On behalf of Prosper Portland, it's my honor to help welcome you to HMCC's Hispanic Heritage Celebration. It's truly a pleasure to celebrate the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce and the leadership of Executive Director Carmen Castro. In particular, over the past year and a half, HMCC has been a true resource for small businesses and an outstanding partner to our city. Your work on behalf of the community has extended well beyond Portland and elevated this organization's stature statewide. We have a deep appreciation for our work together on the Small Business Relief Fund, which made a difference for thousands of businesses, many owned by members of our own Latina community. We're inspired by your work to center and support those most impacted among us in the face of uncertainty and injustice. We applaud your powerful voice on behalf of the Latina community, your work to create opportunity, support higher education, and prepare emerging leaders to better our city and state and contribute to a healthy economy. We look forward to continuing our long-lasting partnership. Thank you.
Prosper Portland and Nike, we so appreciate your support. Muchas gracias. This year,
En
the
nombre de
Hispanic
Prosper
Metropolitan
Portland,
Chamber
es un honor darles la bienvenida.
This year, the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber awarded $144,000 in scholarship to 52 Hispanic students. We provided technical assistance to over 400 Hispanic-owned small businesses. And we had 16 Latino professionals successfully finish the Hispanic Chamber's leadership program.
That's right. Since 1994, the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber has provided a variety of services and activities that focus on creating opportunities for the Hispanic community. We have had great leaders support HMC's mission over the years, and we would like to recognize the elected officials joining us tonight. Out there in the audience, we have Vancouver City Council member Sarah Fox, Senator Ron Wyden, Mayor of Vancouver, Mayor Ann McInerney Ogle, Mayor of Beaverton, Mayor Lacey Beatty, and any other elected officials that we may have missed out there joining us tonight. We thank you and we welcome you. Bienvenidos.
Ron Wyden here, and I so wish I could be with all of you tonight. I did want to take a minute to express my appreciation for all the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber has accomplished over the years. Since 1994, the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber has been a steadfast supporter and promoter of the Latino community. The Chamber again and again has met head-on the challenges of the past 18 months. And in doing so, they ensured that the Latino community does not get left behind as America weathers this healthcare crisis. The pandemic has had a disproportionate impact on the Latino community. Through numerous meetings and visits, it's been so clear to me that much, much more needs to be done at the federal level so it will be possible to build back better and do it together. I'm a proud longtime supporter of the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber, and I'm grateful for the chances we've had to work together over the years. Congratulations on another year of successes, and I look forward to seeing all of you in person soon.
Thank you, Senator Wyden, for your very important words and for your leadership. If you would like to support the work of the Hispanic Chamber and all the work that we do for the community, you can do so by texting HMC21 or 44-321, or you can click on the link below.
Thank you, Wells Fargo, for your ongoing support. At this time, we'd like to recognize our board of directors and thank them for their service to the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber.
That's you.
Gail Castillo, Cascade Centers and HMC Board Chair. Monica Fowler, C-Tran Vice Chair. Carlo Quiñones, Nike and HMC Treasurer, Julissa Vasquez, Intel and HMC Secretary,
Sandy Ragnetti, Seed and Sow, Gabe Gomez, Bank of America, David Vitela, Wells Fargo, Elizabeth Gomez, Bridge City Contracting,
Gerardo Ochoa, Linfield University, Berta Ferran, Community Member, John Jackley, Advanced Technology, Communications, and Alan Avila, Howard S. Wright.
Edward Hamilton, Country Financial, Julie Hernandez, Portland General Electric, Seth Tyndall, U.S. Bank, Carlos Quesnel Melendez, Mexican Consulate, and HMC Board Honorary Member.
Thank you, board members, for your service to the Hispanic Chamber. The Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber serves both Oregon and Southwest Washington, and we rely on partners throughout the region. Here's another one of our partners.
We know you have dreams, that you have plans. That's why at U.S. Bank, we make banking personal. We guide you with bankers who understand you, and with the U.S. Bank mobile app, so personalized, it speaks your language. We see beyond the numbers. We see you. We see your dreams, and we're here to help you make them a reality. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Some materials may only be available in English.
Thank you, U.S. Bank. Tonight we have two very special guests representing some of the cities we serve. Please welcome the Mayor of Vancouver, Anne McHenry Ogo.
Good evening and welcome. Buenas noches y bienvenidos. I'm Anne McInerney Ogle, Mayor for the City of Vancouver, and I'm honored to join you this evening. I'd like to thank the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber for finding a way to connect everyone on this very special occasion as we celebrate the start of Hispanic Heritage Month. This event is an opportunity to honor the contributions of our Latino community throughout the region, and I appreciate being here to share it with you. Vancouver has an active and engaged Hispanic community, which continues to grow every day. We're honored to have the Chamber in our downtown area. They're a wonderful and much needed resource, Vancouver, and we value supporting their efforts. Our Latino community has had a profound and very positive influence on Vancouver, driven by a strong commitment to family, faith, hard work, and service. Tonight, we celebrate these qualities and the many vital contributions to our region. The increasing Latino population continues to be a crucial part of our growing workforce. Latino-owned businesses are a key driver of our local economy and a vital part of enhancing the diversity and quality of life in our community. Studies show that Latino-owned businesses help support small banks and lending institutions, thus creating prosperity for all of us. The Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber recently awarded 20 grants to Latino businesses in the city of Vancouver and Clark County. These grants are helping businesses that were hit hard by the pandemic to stay open and continue contributing to a vibrant and inclusive local economy. We're grateful for these efforts and all that you do to make our community a better, more desirable, and more livable place. And once again, it's an honor to join you and represent Southwest Washington. Muchas gracias a todos por estar aquí esta noche. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Mayor McInerney Ogo. Now, let's welcome the Mayor of Beaverton, Lacey Beatty.
Hi, I'm Lacey Beatty, Mayor of Beaverton. I'm so grateful for the good work of the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber. We have a long-standing, important relationship. They've provided small businesses technical assistance in Beaverton for several years, including during the pandemic when small businesses needed that help the most. One of my favorite things about being a welcoming city is just how much diversity that brings. We have a significant Latinx community here in Beaverton. The Latinx community is culturally rich and diverse, with many languages and deep heritage. I want to honor and celebrate all of the contributions of the community, not only this month, but every day.
Thank you, Mayor Beatty. We have also received a letter from Mayor Ted Wheeler from Portland, Oregon, which I will now read. Leaders, members, and friends of the Hispanic Chamber. Though I am unable to join you in your celebration tonight, I am nonetheless deeply appreciative of the work of the Hispanic Chamber continues to do in the Portland community and beyond. These past 18 months have been challenging, to say the least, but your chamber has consistently stepped up to assist and support the Hispanic business community in amazing ways. Your work is challenging and difficult, but necessary and extremely impactful. I want to personally thank you for your partnership with Prosper Portland and your continuous collaboration with Prosper's programs, many of which help to benefit Latino businesses in the region. I'd also like to thank the Chamber for your service on the city's Economic Recovery Task Force, as well as the Portland Action Tables. Your input is always thoughtful and goes a long way in providing the help to the communities that need it the most. Portland's Latino Hispanic community is large and ever growing, and as the community grows, they will continue to contribute to Portland's culture and economic prosperity. That is why the support from organizations like the Hispanic Chamber is paramount to the community's overall success. I wholeheartedly believe in the Chamber's mission and vision, which is why in the city's last budget cycle, my office committed $100,000 to help fund capacity building for the Hispanic Chamber and all other minority chambers in Portland. I am excited for our continued partnership and thankful for the work that you do, not just for the Hispanic community, but for the entire Portland community. I look forward to celebrating with you next year, hopefully in person. Sincerely, Ted Wheeler, Mayor of Portland.
Thank you, Mayor Wheeler.
Now, let's not forget that tonight is all about supporting the Hispanic Chamber's mission through raising funds. And need I remind you that tonight we are raffling off 2 round-trip tickets with Alaska to anywhere they fly, valued at $2,500. We are still selling those tickets tonight, and they are going. So somebody tonight is going to get very lucky. Go ahead and hit that link, and you still have time to add your name to the list. We have 150 tickets to sell, and we're almost turning the corner on halfway. So if you could go ahead and hit that link, you still have plenty of time to put your name in the ring. And now, while you go and do that, let's move on and watch a clip from another one of our sponsors.
We're growing to serve people. You know, parent people, working people, teacher people, and student people too. We're adding 20 new branches in Fred Meyer locations, hiring more on-point people, and continuing to give back to people in our community. If all that makes you think we're your kind of people.
All organizations, from nonprofits and from the private sector. Class 15 has completed a full year of leadership training despite the challenges of the pandemic. Now, I would like to introduce you to Class 15. Leadership Class 15, Tania Belmont, Paulinia Cornejo, Lauren Cresta, Mónica Martínez Ánimas, Eliseo Olvera, Spiral L. O'Neill, Felicitas Peñalosa, and Yvette Pérez Chávez.
Betsy Rodríguez, Poncho Romero, Cristian Salgado, Ana Serrano, Ernesto Vázquez, Remy Wissacarver, Pablo Cepeda Martínez, and Araceli González.
To all of Clase 15, felicidades and congratulations. You represent the emerging leaders of tomorrow in business, government, and community service. We can't wait to see what you will bring to the future. And with that, we'd like to welcome the upcoming leadership class. You can look forward to a full year of learning, personal growth, and cultural camaraderie. Welcome y bienvenidos a la clase 16.
Gabe Casas, Isabel Lara, Nicole León, Rafael Barnal, Itzel Figueroa, Lale Santelixes,
Marcos Gaután Flores, Ana Rondán Heredia, Manuel Arellano, Miriam Valdivia Romero, Yesenia Avalón León.
Thank you, Ozzy. Let's take a look at another message from a sponsor.
To me, the Latinx community to me means cultura.
The Latinx word specifically means progress.
Just like a sense of love and like community and just kind of like people who you can rely on no matter what.
I think the Latinx community is like my people. It's my friends and family in a very small pocket in the UVO.
Before I came to school here, I didn't know Latinx, I knew Latino. I thought that meant like Mexican, you know? Turns out that's not the case. It means a bunch of people from South America, Central America, and the US. So the Latinx community to me just means that it's rich, you know?
It means unity, recognizing that, we're just not all Mexicanos. There's different people with different Latin roots.
It's important to really embrace your culture and really just be yourself.
When I was looking into higher institutions, I didn't see people who looked like me. If I were to give advice to anyone about finding these communities on campus, I would say just go out there and do it. This is your opportunity to really find what you're looking for and really discover something new about yourself. And I just take a lot of pride in the work that I do, and I'm really grateful to be here. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I definitely never take it for granted because I know how lucky I am to be here.
At the Port of Portland, we're proud of our nationally recognized Mentor Protege program. The award-winning program pairs small businesses with mentoring, technical assistance, and education, all designed to break barriers and take your business to the next level. So at the Port of Portland, we're proud to say that we're here to help you find your possibility.
The support from my mentors, it's been incredible. They helped me to transition from residential to commercial, understanding contracts, and the most important thing is they're always there for me when I have questions during a project.
The office support has been awesome. They help us to understand better the whole system with QuickBooks, taxes, and all the reports in general. Thanks for the help. We feel like now we're ready to grow.
Y gracias por su ayuda.
The Port of Portland Mentor Protege program has helped us in a lot of different ways. One in particular has been through marketing. They hired a team to help us rebrand our business and change our name from ICE Corporation to C Engineers. They provided us with a brand new logo, a new website, and all new marketing material that is more representative of who we are and speaks better to our customers.
To learn more about the Port of Portland's Mentor Protege program, visit portofportland.com. My business, my possibility. Mi negocio, mi posibilidad.
And now, the time has come for us to present the 2021 Bravo Awards. These awards celebrate the outstanding contributions of Latinos in our community and also recognize organizations that have supported the Hispanic Chamber's efforts to contribute to the advancement of Latinos in Oregon and Southwest Washington.
Welcome again. Bienvenidos. It is a great pleasure to have you all with us tonight for our 27th Hispanic Heritage Celebration. It has been a difficult year for all, and our community has been disproportionately affected. The Hispanic Chamber rose to the occasion and stood up many programs to help our community. Because of that, it is my honor to introduce the first Bravo Award for this evening. With support from Business Oregon, the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber was able to provide nearly 200 websites to Latino businesses and also bookkeeping and tax services to 75 additional businesses. This project took place last fall through June 30th of this year and helped Latino businesses keep their doors open. Thank you, Business Oregon, for your support. To accept the Bravo Award for Latino Public Partnership, allow me to introduce Soporn Chang, Business Oregon's Director.
Hello and welcome. I am Soporn Chang, Director of Business Oregon, the economic development agency for our great state of Oregon. On behalf of Business Oregon, we are honored to be this year's Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber's Public Partnership Bravo Award recipient. Our work is all about partnership. We rarely do anything alone, but work with communities, small businesses, and organizations, just like the Hispanic Metro Chamber, to ensure we are reaching each and every community that we can while embracing cultural and linguistic differences. We have a wonderful team carrying out our programs and services, but it takes relationships, experience, and trust to do this work, particularly to reach communities that may have been underserved and under-resourced in the past as well as the present. We are very grateful for the partnership and appreciate everything that you and your team at HMC do for our communities in Oregon. Thank you for acknowledging our mutual partnership. This is only the beginning of our work together. Thank you.
Daniel was born in Costa Rica and lived in Guatemala for most of his childhood. Due to increased violence, his family immigrated to the United States when he was just 7 years old. Early on, the stress of transitioning to a new country caused his uninsured mother to develop chronic health conditions, which introduced him and his family to the difficulty of navigating the U.S. healthcare system. He accompanied his mother to her medical visit at the free clinic, later volunteering as a Spanish interpreter. Inspired, Daniel decided to pursue a career in medicine and went to Washington State University, where he graduated summa cum laude with a bachelor's degree in neuroscience. He currently works as a medical assistant at the Free Clinic of Southwest Washington, which has further fueled his passion for helping others through medicine. He's studying to take the medical college admissions test with the hopes of one day serving his community as a physician. Daniel and his colleagues share the vision that no human should have inadequate access to healthcare based simply on where they were born or for their zip code. A vision that has inspired their purpose to provide compassionate care always. Please join me in congratulating Daniel Salazar.
I'd like to thank the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber and Ed Hamilton for your continued commitment to serving our community. I'm so proud to be part of a family at the Free Clinic that is doing amazing work in empowering the Latinx people by providing access to healthcare and resources. I'm also thankful for the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber, an organization that strengthens our community at a socioeconomic level. You know, this group's mission hits home.
Diana Avalos Leos is the founder and director of the Clark County Latino Youth Conference and is the Community Engagement Coordinator for Vancouver Public Schools. Ms. Avalos Leos began her career in education in 1991 with the Ocean Beach School District as a bilingual staff assistant. Ms. Avalos Leos was appointed as the Southwest Washington Commissioner for the Hispanic Affairs Office in 2005. Over the years, Ms. Avalos Leos has served on several boards, including the Washington State Hispanic Youth Plan. She was the founding member of the Southwest Washington League of Latin American Citizens Council, known to many of us as LULAC. Ms. Avalos Leos has received many recognitions for her accomplishments. She received the Washington State Migrant Education Program Award in 1995 for her passion and commitment to the education of migrant children. She also received the YWCA Val Joshua Racial Justice Award and was recognized for her advocacy work by the Community Foundation for Southwest Washington as the recipient of 2020 and 2021 Clark County First Citizen Award. She intends to continue dedicating her life to provide an encouragement and support to others so that they too can experience the life that they envision for themselves. Please join me in congratulating Diana Avalos Leos as this year's recipient for the Bravo Award for Latino Education.
First of all, I want to thank the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber for selecting me for this award. I am deeply honored to be this year's recipient of the Education Health Bravo Award. I'm especially humbled that I'm receiving this award for the dedication to elevating others to reach their success, creating pathways, access to higher education to underrepresented youth and their families, support emerging leaders, and collaborate with community stakeholders to mitigate the social and economic impacts. And through our work and founding mission to motivate youth to pursue higher education or technical careers, to seek opportunities and engage in positive behaviors is being realized. Our youth and families are learning, leading, and engaging in advocacy at all levels of community. 2021 has brought the deep honor of serving in new ways, and we continue to provide Latinx emerging leaders the skills, support, and social capital to achieve their goals and support their families and their futures. In ancient Aztec mythology, the hummingbird was a symbol of strength, and as a reminder of our ultimate resilience in battle and beyond, we've been battling many things this year, and we continue to fight for something of greater power and worth: our children, our families, our connections, our future. In 2021, our organization celebrates 10 years of working with youth, family, and community partners, and you will see our resilience as we follow our dreams in the midst of life struggles. Our program, our team, and even our name will transform and take in a new life as the ancient hummingbird legend. But you won't see us waver from our values or our goals of providing youth and their families the training and support they need to navigate systems, advocate for themselves and each other, and engage in their communities with power and knowledge. Again, thank you so much for this acknowledgement.
Sofia Torres McKay, co-owner of Cramoisi Vineyard and Winery and co-founder of AIVOE, a local nonprofit organization, la Asociación Hispana de la Industria del Vino en Oregon y Comunidad. Sofia is a mom of 2 boys, a businesswoman, winemaker, passionate wine grower, and a prominent activist for vineyard stewards. Born in Mexico City, Sofia worked 19 years in the tech industry before taking the lead of her small family business in 2017. She moved to the U.S. in 2002 to pursue her career in corporate business. In 2011, Sofia and her husband Ryan both invested their money and took a chance on 10 acres of property in the Dundee Hills of Oregon. They started planting their vines in 2012 and started living their dream, making small lots of boutique Pinot Noir, Rosé of Pinot Noir, Blanc de Noir, and Chardonnay. Sofia continues to be a passionate steward for diversity in the wine industry and teaches her vineyard stewards the importance of organic and biodynamic farming. They farm their vineyard with respect to the land, vineyard stewards, family, and the consumer. In 2020, she got recognized as a wine industry leader, honoring the changemakers and influencers by Wine Business Monthly and The Latino. Sofia was appointed to the Regional Solutions Advisory Committee, Mid-Willamette Valley, an active board member of the Willamette Valley Wineries Association and AIVOE. When she is not working, she spends time with her family and, of course, her lovely dog, Lava. She grows dahlias and lavender as a hobby, loves cooking and kickboxing. Her favorite thing to do is to go for a walk with her family to the beach. Please join me in congratulating Sofia of Cramoisi Vineyard.
Hi, hello. I'm here among my vines at Cramoisi Vineyard, and I want to say on behalf of my husband, Ryan McKay, thank you to the Hispanic Chambers to this award. We are very honored to receive it. We also want to say thank you to our family, to our friends that support us, that motivate us and celebrate with us our success. Especially as a Latina owner, I want to celebrate and recognize the work, the hard work that our vineyard stewards do in our Willamette Valley. We are in the middle of the harvest, and I can't thank enough for all the work that they do for us. I also want to thank our amazing winemaker consultants, Drew Boyd, Jessica West, and Cassidy, for their beautiful partnership. We want to thank our Oregon wine community, our consumers, and all the people involved in the story of our wines. Last but not least, we want to say thank you to organizations that Hispanic chambers that supports and recognize the hard work and contributions that the Latino community provide to our country. Sí se puede. Muchas gracias.
Sí se puede indeed. And wow, to all of the Bravo Award winners, congratulations. And now, for our final Bravo awardee, we have Honorable Judge Gregory Gonzalez, receiving this year's Latino Justice Bravo Award. Judge Gonzalez had been a partner at the Vancouver law firm of Weber Gunn PLLC before his appointment to the Clark County Superior Court bench. He started the firm in 1983. His areas of practice included personal injury, plaintiff representation, misdemeanor criminal defense, and general litigation. Judge Gonzalez is a member of the Washington and Oregon State Bar Associations. He graduated from the University of California, Riverside, and Lewis and Clark Law School here in Portland, Oregon. Judge Gonzalez is the chairperson of the Clark County Courthouse Security Committee, and he has presented at local continuing education programs in Vancouver, Washington. Please join me in welcoming Judge Gregory Gonzalez.
As you might guess, I would love to thank my parents, Carmen and Alfredo Gonzalez. Without their love, guidance, and support, I would not be here. Likewise, they gave me a lot of financial support in my early life. Likewise, my wife Molly has been my greatest supporter during my judicial career. She listens to me, she takes care of me, and she offers me some love and care. As you might also guess, I love being a lawyer. I say it often in public, there's no greater joy than being a lawyer. I love taking care of my clients. I love being with them. I love it. But being a judge is far greater. I want everyone to know if I can do it, you can do it. There are many pitfalls. I've had many. I stumbled many times. I had to pick myself up many times. You can do it as well. At the beginning of my career, I had great mentors. They provided me all the legal guidance that I needed. In law school, I had the best friends ever. They kept me focused. They kept me in law school, and they gave me their support as well. Currently, I have two of the best, greatest judicial assistants ever. Gigi was my first one. Katie is my second one. They have kept me on time. They kept me prepared. Again, without their support, I wouldn't have this career. So thank you.
Felicidades to all recipients of the Bravo Awards. Now, I know I've been talking a lot about those plane tickets that are still winnable by the raffle, but I would also like to remind you that we are conducting a virtual silent auction this evening. The silent auction will close on Monday, September 20th, so you still have some time after you're done buying those plane tickets, of course. But we encourage you to start bidding tonight, regardless. So if you have not done so already, this is the right time to do it. Now, one of my favorite packages is the Latinx Brewery Experience with Chicha Brewing, which is the Pacific Northwest's premier Latinx brewery. If you haven't tried them, you should. They're located in West Salem, Oregon, and this package includes a multi-course pairing dinner for up to 8 of your favorite people, featuring Chef Ricardo Antunes. You might even have a special seat just for me.
Here's another reminder that the clock is ticking on that raffle. So get your airline tickets going on now.
2 tickets. So we will be picking out one lucky winner who will be winning vouchers. And with that, the total value of this thing is $2,500.
Yeah, where are you going, Ozzy?
Oh, wherever they invite me. So if you win, make sure to save a seat for me. Now, let's check in with another one of our sponsors.
Portlanders, Oregonians, I like how everyone is very proud of who they are and where they're from and the fact that they live here.
Well, when I first came to Portland 40 years ago, compared to now, the city's changed tremendously. The one thing that hasn't changed that makes Portland so unique is its collection of neighborhoods and communities. And those communities together and those neighborhoods is what makes Portland so special. And that hasn't changed.
We're watching out for you on KOIN 6 News this morning.
When you're starting your day, every second counts, from getting your kids ready for school to getting yourself ready for work.
We focus on the information you need to jumpstart your day from a team with the experience to get it right and get it to you first.
With breaking news that affects your world, traffic problems and how to get around them, and Portland's most accurate forecast.
Be ready for what's next. Join us for KOIN 6 News this morning, weekdays from 4:30 to 7.
And now, it is our pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for the evening, Marcelino Alvarez. Marcelino is the Chief Product Officer at Fresh Consulting. Graduate of Duke University with a degree in video production and international relations. Marcelino has produced campaigns for Nike, Electronic Arts, Old Spice, and Coke Zero. Before joining Fresh, Marcelino founded Uncorked Studios, a strategic product design studio. For 9 years, they worked with many companies across multiple industries, such as Nike, Google, Facebook, Samsung, you might have heard of a few. Uncorked was recently acquired by Fresh Consulting, where he and his talented team have been an invaluable addition to Fresh.
Good evening. I wish that we could all be here in person tonight, but it seems that the pandemic is going to keep us virtual for one more year. I look forward to the day when we can all gather together again. I'd like to start this evening by expressing my gratitude to Carmen Castro and to the Hispanic Metropolitan Chamber for the opportunity to share my personal story. It is a tremendous honor, and I'm appreciative of all the effort that has gone into putting together this evening's event. I'd also like to acknowledge everyone who's here this evening watching. Thank you for tuning in, for making time, for being here. This last year has been incredibly difficult for many of us in the community. From the pandemic to the economy to the blend of work, home, and other obligations, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for making the time. This evening, I'm here to share my personal story, my journey as to how I've arrived here, some of the successes, some of the challenges, some of the highs, and some of the lows. I hope that you might find inspiration, or at minimum learn from my mistakes. Over my personal and professional history, I've realized that certain themes emerge and reoccur. At first, I might have tried to ignore those themes or compartmentalize them, but as I've gotten older, I've learned to embrace them. So here they are. 1, I'm a generalist. I'm not really great at anything, but I'm pretty average in a lot of places. 2, I'm a connector. I constantly seek opportunities to bring disparate things together. People, context, disciplines. And 3, I am obsessed with really complex problems. Easy things bore me. The things that everyone says are impossible or crazy, those are the things that consume me. One other thing that seems to connect the various phases of my life is that the pathway forward often isn't clear until I'm a few steps down a new path. And I'll come back to this and to these themes a bit later, but let's start with the personal stuff. I grew up in South Florida, specifically Fort Lauderdale, which is close enough to Miami, but it's not Miami. My dad's Cuban and my mother's Puerto Rican, and I was born in Santo Domingo. So I guess that makes me a bit of a mutt from the Caribbean. I'm the oldest of 3. Both of my parents were in the healthcare industry. My dad was a pathologist and my mother a dental hygienist. She gave up practicing to raise us, and after a short stint running a Haagen-Dazs when I was in college, she went back to practicing dental hygiene until she retired a few years ago. I like to joke that my mom spent several years creating a supply of cavities to create demand for future dental services. As a child, I enjoyed tinkering with things. I liked taking stuff apart, like my video game controller, a broken toy, or taking apart the family computer, messing around with the family camcorder on vacations. And admittedly, a few of those got me in trouble over the years. Sometimes when you take something apart, it's a little tricky putting it back together again. But you learn and you get better at it. Once on a family vacation, I remember that we were visiting Yellowstone National Park, and we were kind of walking along this trail. And I remember that my father and his friend had set up their tripods to take photos of wildflowers somewhere. And each time they did this, it was like a big to-do. Both families had to stop while these two guys set up their tripods. They selected a lens, configured a flash, and changed the roll of film. And it often took them like 20 minutes to get like a single shot. And so we wound up spending most of our hikes just watching them take a photo instead of hiking. Needless to say, the other family members often got tired and complained. But on this particular day, as usual, I found myself in control of the family camcorder. And so I thought it would be really funny to just narrate the absurdity of their photography setup while filming them. And I remember just kind of like zooming out to capture a little bit more of the scenery. And then like in the corner of a frame, I see a bison. Now this bison, for some reason, has taken interest and kind of notice of my father and his friend. And he's begun kind of walking towards them. And this walk kind of becomes like a bit of a gentle gait, and then the gait into something more of a sprint. And I was still narrating. And then it dawned on me that this could get ugly really quickly. So I casually mentioned the bison situation to my father, who hadn't seen it because his eyes were, stuck in a lens trying to adjust things. And I took a great amount of pleasure at sort of watching the chaos of them quickly disassemble tripods and scurry back to the main trail. Well, it turns out that the bison wasn't really that interested in them. He was after the hot springs. He crosses over the boardwalk where we'd been standing, plops over on the ground near Warm Sulphur Spring, and just begins making these kind of funny sounds while it looked like he was trying to scratch an itch that he couldn't reach. I was laughing so hard that the camera was shaking, and my dad and his friend didn't appreciate the humor as much, so I don't think I was allowed near the camcorder the rest of the trip. Early on in my childhood, I thought that I was going to be an ophthalmologist. And when I was first fitted for glasses at the age of 8, I remember thinking, like, this would be a really cool thing to do one day. And that, of course, pleased my parents, who thought to themselves, awesome, don't have to worry about this one. And I remember, like, a few years later, I was 14, a friend of mine's father kind of calls me a hacker. And I never heard that word before, hacker. So he took us all to see the movie Hackers, which was playing at the time in the movie theaters, and I was sold. Like, I dug deeper into computers, I took a few computer science classes in high school, but in parallel, there were other things, developing as well. My interest in films, filmmaking, and storytelling continued to blossom. That friend's dad wound up being my Spanish teacher in high school, and he introduced us to the world of foreign films. And then around that same time, I found myself enjoying things like public speaking, debate, and I would put that into practice via Model UN, where you pretend to be a country at the UN and solve global problems. I attended Duke University in North Carolina, and I entered still thinking that I was going to be an eye doctor, but decided to take an engineering path to get there, specifically biomedical engineering. Turns out I didn't like math as much as I thought I would, and so I transferred into the liberal arts college. I wanted to pick a major that would give me some diversity from sort of the pre-med track that I was still on, and I'd always enjoyed international relations from like my speech, debate, and Model UN days, so I chose political science. And I wanted to dig deeper into Spanish literature, and so I added that as a minor. And then, during my junior year of college, I joined a startup called Zoom Culture. And their business model entailed providing college students with these expensive video cameras, editing equipment, teaching them to shoot, edit, upload videos to the internet, and organize them into discrete channels. Very, very similar to YouTube, albeit much earlier, and not based in Silicon Valley. They were in Chapel Hill. And unlike YouTube, they had the wrong business model, which is a bummer, because if they had been, I would have been employee number 23 and probably wouldn't be here tonight. But it was a tremendous opportunity to learn about the components of a startup, from building a team to raising venture capital to seeing how organizations pivot in the face of adversity. One of the highlights for me from that era was being flown out to Park City, Utah to attend the Sundance Film Festival. They put us up in this MTV crib-style house with a dozen other college students who had been working with them. And they didn't actually have the right credentials to get us press passes, so they handed us these like laminated fake press passes that we hung around our necks, and miraculously they worked. We interviewed directors, actors, producers, and I was enthralled by the industry, particularly the intersection between storytelling and technology. Here were these actors who like excelled in their craft, making time for us because we were promoting their stories online. So I wound up dropping my last 2 pre-med classes from Park City, much to my father's chagrin, and added 2 film classes. So I wound up graduating with a degree in political science and international relations, a minor in Spanish literature, and a certificate in film and video production. I took a full-time job working for that startup, but I moved down to Miami. Zoom culture found themselves smack in the middle of the dot-com bubble, and when they finally went under, I began dabbling in a bit of freelance video production. That lifestyle wasn't for me, and so I posted my resume on monster.com and miraculously got a call from someone at J. Walter Thompson, a well-known ad agency. They had a regional office of a regional office in Miami, and they were looking for a bilingual producer to help them out with their key account, the regional Ford TV commercials. Now, these weren't like the screaming car dealer in-your-face commercials, but honestly, they weren't much better. My job was to take existing footage of cars that had already been shot, write a script in English and in Spanish that would be tied to a monthly sales theme, and then re-edit the same footage over and over again to canned music from a music library. Occasionally, we'd get to shoot some footage in South Florida, and even less frequently, we'd actually get to shoot an original concept. I realized right out of the gates that this type of work wasn't the most thrilling. But at the same time, I had a lot to learn. So I cut my teeth learning the ins and outs of writing scripts, post-production, recording radio spots, all the while trying to learn more about the advertising industry. One of my colleagues had a roommate who worked for another agency in town called Crispin Porter Bogusky. And they were like the cool agency. They had fun accounts, worked long hours, threw great parties, and they won all the awards. So I set my sights on getting a job there. I befriended a bunch of people that worked there. I'd show up to their happy hours, get invited to their parties. I would literally show up everywhere where I knew they'd be, whether it was 5 p.m. or 3 a.m. And late night, one evening around 2 a.m., I was chatting with the production department head who asked me if I'd be interested in interviewing for a web producer role, one that connected video production with websites. I was thrilled. I interviewed, and a few months later, they brought me on as an interactive producer. It was a growing department, but at the time, I was the fourth hire on that team. I was also pretty sure that by the time I got hired, most people thought that I'd already worked there. I had so much fun working at CPB. The hours were crazy. The projects were incredibly fun. And it honestly felt really good to be part of something that was growing, that was also like an underdog, and whose work was compelling, engaging, and amongst the best creative work coming out of any ad agency globally, never mind one in Miami, Florida. I really thought that I could have stayed in Miami forever. But later that summer, the hurricanes started pummeling Florida. Katrina, Rita, Wilma. The last two severely damaged our offices, and the guy whose name was on the door decided to move to Boulder, Colorado to get away from flooded offices with fish impaled on our walls. And in hindsight, that's a seemingly fair ask. So at first we were allowed to choose where to work, but over time it became clear that the ask was to move to Colorado. But I like being near the ocean, and Boulder did not have an ocean. So a friend of mine also found himself in a similar boat, and we reached out to some friends who were in Portland working at an agency called Wyden Kennedy to see how they were approaching digital and interactive work. And they were still in the early days of figuring out how to navigate creative concepts for the internet. And we had this very wild idea, based very loosely on a book called Moneyball, and their experiences at CPB to help them build a team of interactive designers and developers. And truthfully, we're pretty lucky that one of the people leading that search for the department loved baseball and the book, and so they hired us. So in October 2006, I moved to Portland. And the first week was pretty sunny, and I remember thinking to myself, this isn't that bad. And then it rained for like 10 months straight. My official title at Wyden was Senior Interactive Producer. My friend and I were there to achieve a few things. First, build out their digital competencies from concept to sale to execution to awards. 2, create a culture of digitally savvy creative, not just a few one-off ideas. And 3, build institutional knowledge across the organization, not just siloed to one department. And this was a daunting task for many reasons. WK's large clients didn't associate them with digital concepts. They were known for these anthemic TV commercials like the ones you see at the Super Bowl or the World Cup. Not really the awful Ford commercials that I started making early in my career. And secondly, WK wanted someone to just kind of figure it out, which meant having a department that just did digital things. But the truth of it was that in order to achieve a reputation for delivering consistent creative ideas in space, you needed to think company-wide, not just for a single department. I didn't know at the time, but what I was being tasked with was organizational design and change management. And I definitely did not have the clout, the experience, or the title to pull that off. And so we focused on the work, project by project. We sold cool ideas into the clients who did trust us, like Old Spice and Career Builder. And then we parlayed that into projects with larger brands who were perhaps still hesitant to work with us because they had established agreement with other agencies to do this type of work. We recruited our friends and people that we knew in the industry to join us and build something together. And it was grueling because we spent more time selling than doing, and my preference is to do and then sell. But slowly, we gained traction. In the spring of 2009, we found ourselves with a really interesting opportunity. Lance Armstrong was returning to cycling, and Nike and the Livestrong Foundation wanted to activate cycling fans in the US for the upcoming Tour de France. We had an up-and-coming creative team assigned to the work, comprised of someone that I'd recruited to Portland, that IT guy from Miami who had since moved into a creative technology career path. And their idea was both simple and complex. Build upon the tradition of writing messages in chalk on the streets of the tour, and then automate that via large chalk writing machine that we would tow behind a vehicle. A fan could send a message of hope or inspiration in honor of someone who had cancer, and we'd print that message on the tour. We would take a photo of it, tag it with GPS, and then send it right back to the person who sent it. We called it the Chalkbot, and this is a project that forever changed my career trajectory. I think one of the things that has always made this project stand out to me was that this was the first time that I didn't have to explain how something worked. People just saw it and they got it immediately. It was also taking place live on one of the world's largest event stages. And finally, despite Lance's shortcomings, which would become well publicized later on, the Chalkbot was a piece of technology whose purpose served the greater good. The messages that we sent back to folks impacted their lives, and we heard about it from people in the weeks, months, and years after. Well, I got back to Portland having spent a month in France, which honestly was a lot more difficult than it sounds, but it's a conversation for a later date. I found myself a bit restless sitting behind a desk. I kind of wanted to continue on the trajectory of building innovative things. I'd been working on the side with some friends on a side project building apps. The iPhone had launched their app store earlier that year, and I decided that I wanted to take a crack at building software for a living. And that's where Uncorked Studios was born. I served as founder and CEO. Early on, we worked with ad agencies who were trying to figure out how to develop mobile apps. And I always wanted to get to hardware, but at the time it was really difficult to explain the jump from apps to hardware. But like the Chalkbot loomed in the back of my mind. Like, how might I evolve the studio from where it was to one that could design and build both hardware and software? Eventually, we ditched the ad agencies and moved into working directly with clients who were seeking to build their products. Apps and websites led to designing interfaces for anything with a screen. And then when the screens went away, that led to designing experiences that connected people to the environment that they were in through technology, be it a wearable device, a smart home object, or an immersive experience at an event. And we're very fortunate to do some really incredible work with some equally amazing clients. And a couple of times along the way, we created our own projects, which then became our own clients. We worked with companies like Nike, Samsung, Google, and the Bezos Family Foundation. We accidentally started a nonprofit called Safecast following the Fukushima earthquake to track radiation readings in Japan. We spun out a smart wine cap company. We grew and built our team, including bringing on the CTO who had worked with me on the Chalkbot. We kept growing, which added layers of complexity to the organization. And we made some mistakes. We lost some really good people and clients, and then we rebuilt. We evolved from a company that made apps to one that could place any piece of emerging technology in context for a client. And sometimes that meant saying no. Hey, this isn't a good fit for us, or no, you don't need this technology or something this complicated. And sometimes saying no led to a better yes. And sometimes a really hard loss opened up an even better opportunity for us. In 2015, about 5 years into the Uncorked experiment, a friend of mine, Mara Abrams, invited me to help her lead a design thinking workshop in Havana, Cuba. She had been part of an effort called Fringe Diplomacy, and this is a program started by Mickey Bergman at the Aspen Institute and in partnership with the Richardson Center for Global Engagement. Mickey's thesis was simple. Take really, really awesome people, to visit their counterparts in countries that are on the verge of dramatic change. And that way, as relations improve, there's a foundation for future business opportunities. Or if relations go sour, there are back channels and lifelines to help get people out quickly. He would lead these partnership opportunity delegations, or pods, to places like Cuba, Lebanon, Colombia, and Myanmar. This was a super rare opportunity for me to connect my professional career. We'd been doing design thinking workshops for a number of years at this point, with my personal one, half Cuban. And so we designed a bilingual workshop with Cuban entrepreneurs and their American counterparts. We framed things around the things that we had in common versus the complex political history of the last 60 years. And it turns out that entrepreneurs speak a common language. We want to solve problems around us through design, technology, and new services. We want to do so to improve the lives of those around us, in our communities, in our families, and within our networks. And for the first time in my life, I was among my people, both personally and professionally. And around that time, I also had an opportunity to meet with my father's family while I was down there. They had lived in the house that he had left 60 years prior. I got to see the room that he grew up in, share a shoebox worth of stories and photos, and break bread with my grandmother's eldest and youngest cousins. And it was incredibly impactful for me. Once again, this experience reframed things for me, particularly as it pertained to designing for your community. My friend Mara, who had invited me to Cuba, took a job at the US Census Bureau, and she wanted to lead a workshop in Puerto Rico as part of an innovation sprint around open data. This time, I brought the family along, my wife Margaret, my two children, Caleb and Lucia, and we picked up my mom along the way. It was important for me to share with my children my Puerto Rican heritage. Margaret and I had been married there in 2014, and we hadn't been back since. Hurricane Maria had taken its toll on the island the year prior, and we wanted to visit family as well as begin a tradition of visiting the island every few years. Our children, who were only 2 and 3 at the time, still recall fondly the sandy beach we stayed at, compared to the Barnacle Beach that we visited in the Puget Sound and the cold Big Wave Beach that's the Oregon coast. In 2019, we were acquired by a larger consultancy out of Bellevue, Washington, called Fresh Consulting. I became the chief product officer at Fresh, and we became part of a larger organization that developed a really impressive hardware and robotics offering, in addition to their software design and development teams. For me, it represented an opportunity to learn once again, to transition from being the person responsible for everything and to get a bit closer to product, which truthfully is where my passion lies. And then just 3 months later, the pandemic hit. The business has done well in many respects, though there were some small losses along the way. Work from home has been difficult for many. Others wanted a change. Others wanted to stay small. Once again, we lost a few incredible people. Some clients moved on. But other opportunities has always emerged, and we're beginning to see the light at that end of that tunnel, though the Delta variant has certainly thrown a wrench in things. But hopefully once our children under 12 get vaccinated, we'll be able to get back to whatever the new normal is. So what are some of the things that I've learned along the way? The first is that past hobbies and interests can often resurface in unexpected ways and become incredibly useful. I can connect the dots from filming my family vacation to Zoom culture to Chalkbot and beyond. Similarly, the people who are alongside you today in one capacity might one day become a colleague, a co-founder, or a client. Treat people well in every way, and folks will remember that should you need help someday. And third, the problems around you can inspire you to start your own project or business. You don't need to go too far to find something that might need improving or that you think you can do better. Finally, don't obsess over perfection or executing a far-flung future vision perfectly. So often we can only see a few steps ahead of us. Take those with confidence and then look around. With a new vantage point, you might discover a new opportunity. In terms of my themes, I've embraced being a generalist. I don't think I would have enjoyed life as much if I had specialized in just one type of thing. That makes it easier for me to connect things because, well, mainly I have to in order to move something forward. I've found that framing complex problems as a series of connections makes it easier to distill them into achievable challenges. I'm not an eye doctor. I'm no longer making online videos. I'm not in advertising anymore. I certainly couldn't have imagined where I am today 2 years ago. I have no idea where I'll be 2 years from now. That's okay. Learn from the things in front of you and around you today, and perhaps it might be applicable in some unique way tomorrow. Don't take the inconsequential for granted. Don't be afraid to connect the disparate, to pursue the complex. In the immortal words of José Martí, yo vengo de todas partes, y hacia todas partes voy. Arte entre las artes, en los montes, montes soy. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic messages from you, Marcelino. In a world with so many complex problems to solve, your story inspires us. Thank you so much for sharing it. And now, in just a few minutes, we will be closing the raffle and announcing that lucky winner for the 2 Alaska Airline vouchers. We're going to be picking out just one winner out of the bunch. So if you haven't bought the tickets, you pretty much got to go there now. It's a total of $2,500 value. We've got 150 tickets to sell. We've just got a few minutes left for you to be able to get one. So before all that, while you go do that, let's watch the last video from one of our sponsors. Thank you, Linfield College. And now we have ourselves an exciting announcement for you. But before I reveal the name of our winner of tonight's raffle, I want to remind you once again, the silent auction will go through Monday, so you still have time to look at all of the things that are being raffled off or auctioned off through the silent auction. And for those of you that have joined us virtually in groups and from the comforts of your own private locations, you could come join us afterwards. In just a few minutes, we're going to begin the Zoom networking, and there's a link, if you haven't seen it already, in your RSVP. I believe the link will be put into the chat, and we will be opening up the Zoom conference in just a few more minutes. So go ahead and join, stay in the lobby, and wait us out. As soon as the program finishes here, we'll hop over to join you for a little casual networking as we kick off Hispanic Heritage Month. All right, do we have the announced winner now? Okay, I'm getting news that we have our winner. So drum rolls, please, from your living rooms. The winner of tonight's 2 tickets from Alaska Airlines to anywhere they fly, to which I'm happy to join you, is Manolo Lopez. Felicidades, Manolo! You are the lucky recipient, and I'm sure some will be contacting you about claiming that prize. Felicidades once again, Manolo Lopez. And now, I'd like to invite the Executive Director of the Hispanic Chamber, Carmen, to join us.
At this time, I would like to offer special thanks to the Hispanic Chamber staff, the studio, the North Rim, for the production of this event, and also would like to thank, of course, Ozzy Gonzalez of P3 Consulting and the Hispanic Chamber's own Nicole Leon for being our co-host tonight. Also, thank you to 8Z Wine Works for providing wine to our sponsors and for our auction this evening. Thank you to all for your generous auction donors. who you will see featured in tonight's program. Thank you to all. Muchas gracias. Remember, you can still join the auction fund if you haven't already to support our programs. The link is in our Facebook page in the comments section, and the auction is open until end of day Monday, September 20th. So bid tonight, don't wait. This concludes our program for this evening. Thank you everyone for joining us. Muchas gracias a todos.
a bailar, un pasito más, bueno para gozar, un pasito más, vamos a bailar, un pasito más, bueno para gozar, un pasito más, vamos a bailar, un pasito más, bueno para gozar, un pasito más, vamos a bailar, un pasito más, bueno para gozar. Vamos a bailar, un pasito más, bueno para gozar, más.